everyone, and welcome to another episode of DETAUX Designers Talk UX. So, Catherine Pulsifer once said, always question the why. Don't be satisfied with knowing the how. Today, we have Vidhunnan with us, who studied communication design, but his curiosity led him to find his passion for UX design. And he's here to share his story with us. Hey Vidhunnan, welcome to DETAUX. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. How about you? Thanks for having me.
It's great to have you here. And we've met a few times earlier as well, but it's this conversation is on a different level altogether.
Yeah, sounds good. Yeah, man. Yeah. How are you? How's life? How's the work with you?
Great. It's a lot of conversations are happening, and we're meeting a lot of new people, and a lot of insights from their experiences as well. So it's great to have you as well. And we got to know about your story and how you moved from being a communication designer to a UX UI designer. Now you're leading the product design at bigbasket. So how has your journey been? Please share your thoughts.
Yeah. I think the journey is so far it's really good, and moving from I think in the aspect of moving, I think I kind of explore almost most of the creative field, because I started with animation VFX as when I found creative field, I think I jumped directly into animation VFX. Then I gradually moved between motion design to graphic design, then went to Singapore to study visual communication. Then even though after that I came back to Bangalore, I joined as a visual designer rather than the product designer. But I think within a span of 6 months I was completely moved to product space, because I think that's where I kind of felt myself seeing myself in the future also, because I was able to understand certain things in products. For example, because I was so interested in technology, so it was really a good match for me in the terms of understanding the technology, understanding users, and how human psychology works. So I think that's where a combination I got in the terms of moving into product. So that's my experience in terms of moving to product. But more specifically, I think understanding people problems, or trying to empathize people problems. I think that's where I think my strength points are or where I come from to move to product design in a way.
Okay. So you mentioned that in your bio that you have done a diploma in communication. So how did that happen? So how was your thought process, and what were you looking at while you were pursuing that?
I think the diploma, I think there was two different diplomas happened. So one is from which is almost towards in the terms of graphic and web design, which is hybrid in India. So after that, I was I was working for a while, but I was trying to explore what is opportunities which I can get, or which I can go and explore abroad also, or some other countries. Also, that's where I think the diploma in visual communication comes in, which I did in Singapore. So that's a thought process began. So I want to go and explore different countries in terms of how design works there, or what are the design process that other countries follow. Also want to understand different culture aspects of things. I think that's where it came into moving to Singapore and doing the design in visual communication came into place.
Right. Can you elaborate a little more about maybe your experiences from the diploma that you did at Singapore?
So I think the experience in the terms of I think it's very jam packed course, because I can there are 4 different modules within the span of a year. So 4 different semesters within the span of a year, and also each semester we have at least 3 separate modules which we have to take. And end of the final semester only we have only 2 modules, and one of the final modules it's a huge project where we have to do complete from branding to packaging to publication to we have to think of all the aspects, and also entire strategy how a brand rebranding can happen. So it depends upon the what is the bio a brief we get, it changes. But the brief I got is redesigning Malaysian Airlines after the incident happened few years back, right? So that's my entire strategy in the final year project. So that's kind of over it gave a overall structure, or a more the we call a big view. So it's 3,000 feet view of looking into things. I think that's where it came into place, and that's where I started see okay, there are a lot of things comes into play when a huge project is happening, or when you're doing entire rebranding, or that if you convert that same thing into product design also, right? There are a lot of aspects we like we'll bring in, for example, what are the businesses trying to solve, what is the user problem we are trying to solve, and whether it's feasible with the engineering stack, or like or how the experience that we can bring into the table. So I think that's the kind of like a understanding or like a bigger picture I was able to see by like going to Singapore, or like which are doing like a visual communication course, or like doing like a course which is like as a like more like a covers like all the aspects of design in the terms of the business and creativity.
But how is the culture or the learning experience different from the courses that are conducted in India? Was there like a major culture shock did you get, or in terms of the learning pedagogy, was there any difference? So in what aspects did you find it different from how we learn in India?
I think this might be like personally my experience, because what I learned in India is more on towards like a soft skill side. For example, okay, you have to learn like maybe like Adobe Illustrator, or like you have to learn like Adobe Photoshop for doing certain things. But when I went to Singapore, it's like kind of different, where you have to learn like a lot of theories or like aspects of like how to design fundamentals. Even though like I kind of like learned like few things in India in the terms of like fundamentals, but like going through the deeper level, for example, like what is like in package design, how like different companies do a packages in different ways, how sustainability comes in play, how packaging structure comes into play. So those are like went like in depth, like in the terms of like one level deeper or two level deeper in the terms of like construction, or like in ideology, or like more like a theoretical knowledge of things. So how will you use all these things into building a like a maybe like a really good like a different sustainable packaging material, or like how you choose a material, like if you're like going for like a skincare brand, or if you're like if you're looking for like something which is like different, like for example, what if like a car brand comes to a skincare brand, how will you choose a material for those things? So those are the kind of like a in-depth knowledge that you'll get like that I got like maybe like studying like abroad. I think that's a different like you might get like studying in India or like
No, I mean, in India, I think a lot of institutions, including ours, we look at more different aspects of it, and including different ways of learning pedagogies, wherein you focus more on solving problems, and then yeah, that's kind of interesting.
I agree. I think right now we are like, I think it's changing like slightly in India also. Yeah.
So when was it? When was it that you figured out that okay, you do not want to work in communication design, and you want to work on more of digital products, and why?
Okay, I think that will be like a kind of a simple answer, but I think because I think I kind of able to figure it out in the early stage, maybe like even in VFX or like even motion design, because whatever I do, I always tend to move towards digital medium in one or the other way. So even though when I doing like my first like a semester, or like a first like a semester project in typography, everyone went like trying out things in like printing and things. I completely went to like a complete digital medium of things, like creating a like a complete like type showcase on a digital medium, like how like every type might works, and also like going through like at the time like color fonts was one of the like a trending thing. So like I was like always like have an ability to, or like trying like different things or like the current trend. So I think that's where came like I think the digital medium came into play. Then I think after digital medium, I think product space was growing at the time, and like solving a lot of user issues, or like a lot of product space are like coming, or like different products are like trying emerging in the market. And also like at the time I also try to learn a lot of like try to use like different products in different ways. Like what are the, if anything new products comes, I'll try to use the product and see like what they're doing, like how they're solving these problems. I think that's the kind of like exploration skills, or like a kind of like curiosity might like it might help me to move towards the product space. And also like that curiosity might still make thriving me to learn certain things, or like to use different products, or like to try different frameworks in solving user experience problems, or like user problems.
So I mean, you had an affinity for designing for digital already. You
Yep.
felt that.
Yes.
Yeah. To do that. The world is moving towards more digital, of course, and we'll be needing more designers for the same. Vidhunnan, one more question that I had was that one of the learners also asked this, right? A lot of designers are communication designers, product designers are moving towards digital or digital products design, right? So when they move, right? So how is the previous experience counted upon? Right? You already are coming with maybe 3 years or 4 years of experience in communication design. Now you're making a switch, right? So a lot of people fear that they would be counted as a fresher, right? Or how would that previous experience be counted for? So how was it for you?
I think for me, I think I took that maybe like a switch like early in the career itself. Like I think I switched like within the first 6 months of my first company itself. So I think like that experience, like what I had, like maybe like on teaching or like working with different projects, my experience like limited to certain things. But I think those experience help to maybe like try different things in product also. Like what if like it can be like even like information hierarchy, or it can be even kind of like how a typography might look like. So I think those kind of experience still matters in digital products, because if you take the fundamentals, right, I think fundamentals are the same in every aspect of design. So it, like if you take like typography, or if you take like a color theory, or if you take like any layouts, it's going to be the same in across like all the design aspects. So I think that's a experience that anyone can like bring it to the table, or like switching from different fields also. So I think that's the mostly counts in the terms of like switching. That I think that's what like also helped me, because I was like really good with typography from the beginning, like when I started designing. I think the typography like came into play in the terms of information hierarchies, or like how can we like maybe like have a like better layout structures in different aspects of mobile design. I think that's a kind of like a experience which I was able to bring it from graphic design or from visual communication, like towards move and now moving to the product design space.
So you felt that the previous skills that you had made it easy for you,
Yeah, I can say it's easy for me. Yeah, I think it was easy. Yeah,
the transition. You
transition
felt
was
it
easy.
was
Yeah.
easy. So what were the skills that you felt that you did not have in the beginning, which you had to gain? Which were these elements, or which were these skills that you thought that okay, these are the things that I'm already good at, which are the elements of user experience design, which are those elements which you're already good at, and which were the ones which you felt that okay, these are the things that I need to work on, or okay, these are the things that you need to acquire.
I think there are two things. The first one is like always ask why. I think that's I kind of like missed when I was in communication design, because I think the brief will be like really like a very like will be standard, like designing something, or like we have to like achieve something. But I think that's like that's kind of like a part I might have missed, like asking why for every single step, right? Or like trying to like more like go like one step in the user research part. I think that's one thing I missed in the beginning, where I try to learn like that also. For example, how can we like even though like we understanding user and empathizing is fine, but how can we go like one level deeper in understanding? I think that's kind of like thing like experience which I might have lacked in that time when I like in the first set of transition
So
periods.
if someone has to pursue like a diploma, so comparing it with costs compared to India, is it more expensive, or is it like the same, or is it like less
I mean,
expensive?
so if you consider like diploma like for 2 years or 3 years, right? I think those things will be like really expensive comparatively with India, because I think there are only like schools which offer like for example, let's consider like Lazal or some other school which are like offering like a law, like maybe like a like they're offering like 3 year diploma or like 4 year diploma. I think those diplomas are like slightly like I think it's really expensive comparatively what we might get in India in the way. But the 1 year diploma, because I already did engineering, I don't want to go and like study for another 2 or 3 years. So 1 year is also like I also like believe in like a short learning rather than spending a lot of time like putting into learning, because you can still come back to work and learn a lot.
So what are your thoughts in terms of where is this field going to go in terms of user experience?
Okay, I think that's an interesting question, because I was even trying to figure out like okay where in the terms of like entire product space is also moving, right? Because like we have like so much products coming like every day, or like there are like so much startups, or like there are small indie products also coming. So I think that's even like I'm trying to figure out where it might lead. But in the terms of like the overall structure, right? I think we are kind of moving towards where like a more personalization is coming into play, or like more kind of like a AI driven products, or like a machine learning products is something which I can see like it can be the next user experience, like where can we can define. And the other set of things like it can be like a mixed reality, or like a virtual reality or AR. I think these are two like a main primary spaces where I can see like product is getting like evolving day by day a lot. Like how can we bring like maybe like a more artificial intelligence, or how can we make like personalized products for users where they can like use the product as much as possible, or how can the product can help them to like make their like maybe like life better every day. So I think that's where like I think I'm saying like product or user experiences like moving forward like in the near future.
So I think yeah, I mean more and more digital products will come in, and then we would need to be able to set up those guidelines as well as experiment with the interactions that can be performed in such kind of digital environments, and then how life will change with when intelligence takes over the world. You've been a mentor also, right? The Designers Academy. How was your experience being in the mentor's position?
I think so. The reason I think I started sharing or went kind of took mentorships is like one thing which I always believe in sharing to the community back, and also sharing, and when you share things you will grow faster in a way. I think that's I strongly believe everyone should do, or whoever is possible it should. I think that's the first thing I think started as a more kind of begin the story, or something which I keep in mind to in the terms of sharing things. I think that's what started as being doing mentorships and things in the experience, learning, it goes learning without saying, right? For example, if you have to teach something, you have to learn for yourself. I think that's why it comes and play in the terms of learning, and also you'll grow when your mentees or your learners are getting growth, right? Because you will learn more a lot of things from them also, in the terms of how they are defining a product, how they are seeing certain products in different ways. So you'll also will start growing with them. I think that's what I'm seeing as in terms of mentorships, or in the terms of teaching space. So in the terms of experience, or how it's so far, I think it's a really good with Designers Lab, and so I think that's really great.
Great, thank you for the kind words, and it's great having you over here. I hope we can have more conversation.
So guys, that was it for today. We hope you liked the X2UX story. If you have any questions, please drop it in the comment section down below. If you'd like to see more videos, please consider subscribing. That's it. Bye-bye. Take care.